That should be us any second. Now it's setting up the meeting for Facebook Live. Fucking hell.
It goes like on this loop, and then but then you realize, oh, it's live now. So then hold on, let me.
Done redirecting to Facebook Live page.
Yep,
Yeah,
we're
I'm
live.
showing is live.
What's live?
Woo.
All right, we'll get going here. I'll let you share everything, and I'll start everything off.
Hello, everyone.
Cool.
That's
Hey,
us sorted.
it's Jason Durr from Ball Caps and Bagpipes. I got it right again, John. That's 2 in a row now.
That's too straight.
Usually we talk about Scottish baseball. Of course, for the next 2 weeks, we're talking about the Negro League Baseball Museum fundraiser. And tonight, I'm super excited. Well, John, why don't you introduce yourself first before I introduce our guests?
Of course, I'm John McKellar of the Glasgow Comets. There's my jersey right there. Of the Baseball Scotland National League. I'm one half of Ball Caps and Bagpipes alongside Jason. I too am very excited to speak to Maz. I've been looking forward to this one. He's a big Yankee fan from what you tell me, and I happen to share sympathies, so looking forward to this one. Say hello, Maz.
Hello, Maz. I don't know. No, it's I'm looking forward to it too. I anytime I can talk baseball and sports, I could probably talk forever, but I won't do that to everybody. But I appreciate everybody that's turning out and you guys having me on.
Hey,
So
yeah,
why don't
thanks
we
for coming
start
on.
with the? Oh,
Go
so
ahead, John.
why don't we start by telling us about your baseball background? Obviously, we've established you're a Yankee fan. Where did you grow up? Did you play growing up, and if so, to what level and what positions did you play?
Sure. So I'm originally, even though I never lived there, I was born in Flushing, Queens, which to those that know, it's odd that I'm not a Mets fan. But I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from Canarsie, Brooklyn. My dad and my whole family were from Brooklyn. He was a huge Yankee fan, so I grew up a Yankee fan. And when I was about 8 or 9 years old, I moved to Central Jersey. That's when I really got involved in baseball and when I was really paying attention. And my dad signed me up for Little League when we moved to Jersey. I honestly didn't know much about the game, so he, without exaggeration, he sat me down at the table. He had drawn, a baseball diamond, and we would go over different scenarios. He had photocopied it, and he would say, if the runner is, if the runner's on first base or whatever, and the ball's hit here and you're playing here, where would you throw it? He had me like ball up a sock and throw it against the wall. So I was playing since I was about 8 or 9. I didn't play like high school. I stopped around then. Starting off, they wanted me to be a first baseman, but being new to baseball, that wasn't the best for me. I played a lot of left field, third base, and second base. And my swan song was I finally got to pitch one day, which was like my favorite. I always wanted to do it, but the coach's kid was always the pitcher. So finally, one day I got my shot. My family was there to see it. My aunt and uncle were there. And I just loved playing it in the summer with friends. I miss playing it. Um, I don't know if I like baseball because I always joke with my wife that if you can hit the ball really far, you don't have to be so fast. Um, but yeah, it's just always been a part of me. And then with the art, combining it with baseball, I mean, it was just like a match made in heaven.
So let's talk about the art then. You got into the art, as you said, at quite a young age. Why don't you tell us about your art and how that kind of came to be?
Sure. So the funny thing is, like, people who've seen me pick up on this, I hold a pencil incorrectly. There was actually a point in time, I think in first or second grade, where the teacher tried to give me that thing you put on a pencil to hold it correctly.
Mm.
And that year I was just miserable. Like I didn't want to, I guess my mom said like I didn't want to draw that much or whatever. But the reason why is because I literally picked up a pencil before I could walk. Like I just always loved messing around with it. I remember like in pre-K, while people were like playing with blocks or at like the sand station or whatever, I was sitting there with that yellow paper we used to have and like Crayola markers, drawing. I, I, I'm lucky because I always knew that I wanted to be an artist. I never had to decide what path I wanted to go down. It's always been my passion. And I went to school for comic art and cartooning. Anybody who's like a big comic fan, I went to the Joe Kubert School of Cartoon and Graphic Art. So I was doing a lot of comic conventions, horror conventions, and then just a few years ago, I went down this unexpected path to, like I said, combine my love of sports and art. And as a fan, it's just been an amazing, wild ride that I appreciate every second of.
John, are you taking over this? Remember in the article, what are we doing?
Hello?
Lose.
You
Right,
got
okay.
Cool.
All right, yeah, no, see, you did that. So you got your background in cartoon and comic art, and I was reading up that you did a lot of what was it? Horror and is it me?
Can you see
I can
me?
hear you. I can hear you.
Well,
I
okay,
can hear
yeah.
you.
As
Yeah,
long as it's not me, we're good.
Apologies, I'm having some technical problems here on my end. Sorry about that. You continue, please.
All right, yeah. So you said you guys your start was in cartooning and comic art. So you did a lot of horror shows, horror and conventions. Tell us about that.
That is the funniest thing. I was literally talking to my wife about this the other day, because as a kid, I'm not even joking. I was the biggest chicken. I would not go trick or treating. I wouldn't even go to school on Halloween. I couldn't go in any stores. Somebody could literally say the word Dracula and I'd start crying when I was a little kid. So flashing forward now, I live in an apartment here with my wife, and we've got like a Bride of Frankenstein and a Wolfman thing in the kitchen. I've got a thing of Bram Stoker's Dracula, which it's just like inconceivable for me to grow up to be that. And I told my wife that the other night. I said, I can't believe that I'm that kid. And she said the most profound thing to me. She said, "You're not that kid, you're that man. Like you grew up." And I conquered it. But one of the first comic conventions I did was in a place in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and a woman had come up to me that was looking at my art, and she said, they do a show here. It's like one of the biggest, if not the biggest, oldest, longest running horror show in the country. She's like, I think you would do really well here. And even when I was little and I was scared of that stuff, I was always into the unexplained, like Bigfoot and UFOs and ghosts. So it's weird because the stuff that's, real was the stuff that I loved, and the stuff that's, fake was the stuff that scared the crap out of me. But I've always loved creature designs and cool characters. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I love that kind of the all the creativity and creature design stuff. So I love drawing like those characters. So when I went down into that world, that was a lot of fun for me too. And I miss doing that a lot in my free time. I do. It's just that it's a blessing because I keep so busy with the sports stuff. I don't have as much time for it. But I'm definitely, I'm not just a sports guy. I mean, comics and horror is what brought me to the dance. My wife loves when I do the horror stuff. I love like classic black and white Universal monster stuff. Guillermo del Toro's a hero of mine. So it's variety is what keeps it moving forward. But as long as people keep asking me to draw sports, I'll do it. I'm grateful that they do. So.
So how much fun are the conventions? I mean, you must get there, set a booth up there, and be able to chat to the other artists and everyone else there. I mean, I've been to baseball card conventions, but I've never been to see a horror convention. How much of a difference is there to it?
It's definitely different. There's more, when you go to like a sports convention, there's usually maybe you're the only artist, or maybe there's one or two artists. I mean, the industry is changing in that way. When we were younger, you had maybe like Topps Gallery, or even before that Diamond King. So you had like maybe one or two artists that really did sports cards. Now with the explosion of sketch cards, it's like there's artists everywhere. So at a horror convention or a comic convention, you're definitely not the only show in town. I've made really amazing friends, that have been next to me. For me, it's just cool meeting the people. I love drawing there. The first time I did it was like the scariest thing because it's like put up or shut up. I would take commissions. People would come up to me and ask me to draw whatever. We're blessed that we live in a day and age where you can just go on the phone and look up a reference. But I enjoy that, and it actually helped me in the long term with my art to be more productive and be faster and kind of break my nerves. But I miss it. Hopefully when things get a little bit better in the world with what we're dealing with, I can kind of get back to that. Even sports wise, I did some conventions as a sports artist. But the interaction is the best part of being an artist, and we're lucky that we have that online, like what we're doing right now.
It's amazing. It really seems like you said, you hit the nail on the head. There really is this explosion of sports and art, and the combination of whether it's artists or if it's baseball card art. I mean, I've guys been kind of looking for this the last 2 years, and I've just really noticed how much it's really kind of blown up. And of course, there's the Topps 2020 project, and that's really kind of blown up things there. Are you collecting any of those?
So early on, I'd say not early on, but kind of after they blew up, I started picking up some of them. I think it's a cool idea, and it's cool to see what people are doing. I haven't been keeping up just because I'm not, believe it or not, I actually got out of card collecting, even though I do stuff for Topps, a few years ago. It it was kind of painful, but I wanted to streamline my collecting to game use stuff, which
Yep.
is expensive. I hope my wife doesn't hear. She probably knows. So
She
I
needs
went
the
from
bills.
getting she's in the other room. So I went from getting pieces of stuff to the whole thing. I don't know if I got selfish, but no, I think it's been great. It's cool seeing people that weren't into art try to get into it because of Topps 2020. At first, with Project 2020, it seemed like people were kind of resistant to it, but then once they realized what a market there was for it, and it kind of blew up. And now people are becoming fans, and I think it's great because you're also getting artists that weren't necessarily known for sports,
Yep.
doing sports stuff, and it's always fun as an artist to kind of push yourself. And it's just cool to see people's interpretation with the same medium. So, I mean, I'm following it. I look forward to seeing what people are doing. It's exciting to see what they're doing, and I'm happy for all the people doing it.
There's 3
So-
Yankees. You should be happy. There's 3 Yankees in the set.
That's true. 3 Yankees and other guys who were Yankees who aren't Yankees. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do in the future. I know a lot of the Topps artists would like a chance to do that. These were people that were outside of that purview. But like I said, everybody's got a unique style. Even within the sports art community, we all have different styles, and it's a real brother and sisterhood. And I always believe that there's enough enough pie for everybody to get a piece, kind of thing.
As you mentioned, the various different styles. Now, you have as we've established, a kind of a very cartoon, comic booky type style. Talk us through your process of applying that style to baseball. What challenges do you face when trying to bring out the personality of a kind of classic ball player in that style? Because obviously they're very different worlds. How do you go about that?
It's funny because I didn't really get into this style per se until sports. One of the things that, one of the things that an artist struggles with the most is style. They tell you, especially when I was going to school, it's the thing that happens when you're not trying. If you try and it doesn't come naturally to you, you're not going to enjoy it. Now it's hard for me to draw any other way. And like I was going through I have this big like tub of my artwork dating back to like when I was a kid. And I was going through it and just seeing the kind of progression getting towards where I'm at. And it's just weird, man. It's like people think that, oh, your hand is so gifted or whatever, but any artist can tell you it's your mind. If you had to learn to draw with your foot, you could do the same thing because it's just, it's what's in your mind. The hand is just, the vessel for it. You're telling it what to do. As far as like what I use it towards, my hatching style, even though it is reminiscent of comic work, I didn't really create it that way. That wasn't my thought process. I wasn't like, hey, I'm going to do baseball in a comic book style. I just have a lot of love for people that can do like hatching, especially like older work from like the 1800s and 1900s, where they can create light and dark just based on how many lines they have in their work or the direction of their lines. And I kind of actually want to go out of that. Like I work other styles. It's just that it's so natural for me. And I think any artist can tell you that. I'm sure they want to try to, expand what they do in their repertoire. For me, it's more about capturing poses or moments that are the essence of the player. When you look for poses, there's like thousands, and there's some of them have been beaten to death. But you want to try to do something fresh and something that you think will fit your style. So I just look for stuff that I think will lend itself to the way that I draw.
So speaking of that, I want to jump in before John asks you another question. I was
Sure.
looking through your artwork. Is that when you talk about style? I noticed you let it put a non-sports object in the background of the photos. Is that just something you developed that way? Because I said particularly like I was wondering why you put popcorn with Mattingly.
Yeah. So to me, I mean, the thing about sports is we have such an emotional connection, right? There's certain things in life that people are so emotionally invested in. Religion, politics, and sports, man. They're just it's when people have a rational conversation that disagree, especially in today's climate, it's rare and that's sad. So for me, it's about an emotional connection and what do I think of when I see the player? And to me, Mattingly, you think about him reaching in and grabbing that little kid's popcorn. That's what I think of.
Right.
To me, that's baseball. That's the beauty of the game. It's gotten to be where it's like we were talking about earlier before we went on air. It's so expensive. I can't even imagine. I don't have kids yet. I hope I'm lucky enough to, but I know just going with me, my wife, or going with my dad or my friend, it's an expensive. Parking at Yankee Stadium is more than the ticket sometimes. That's not even a joke.
That's
Um,
crazy.
it is. And I've paid, I've gotten deals, but so yeah, it's just a matter of when I think of the player, what represents that player, what moments in time. And art is subjective, but at the same rate, I want to put something there that people will get. And maybe not everybody understands the popcorn, but people who grew up Yankee fans or know that moment get it.
Mhm.
So it's the fun is searching for it, and you can't do it with every person. But when I can, I try to do it because to me, it's all about that emotional connection, that memory.
So I'll let John. I'm jumping in and taking over this interview because I'm super excited. So John's a big wrestling fan. So
Oh
what
man.
wrestlers have you done? Because he could probably talk wrestling more than he can talk baseball.
I can do both, man. I actually loved wrestling before I loved baseball, believe it or not. I'm still a big kid. My wife will go with me to baseball games. She's gone to me to a couple of WWE events, but if it wasn't for, guys like Roman Reigns or Randy Orton to look at, she may not want to go, but she puts up with it.
Randy Orton's a handsome man.
Yeah, he's beautiful. I'm comfortable enough to say that he's.
Now, you mentioned wanting to move out of the style that you've kind of established for yourself. Do you ever feel handcuffed by people's expectations of your art when to wit? With regards to that, do you ever feel like handcuffed and like almost as if people expect your art to be a certain way, and almost as if like you're kind of trapped in that?
I actually don't. If anything, I feel handcuffed by myself. Like I said, it's just what comes so
Right.
naturally. Sometimes, like, I'm literally sitting there drawing and I'm like, I want to not do it this way. I wish I could bring elements because, like, the hatching thing actually came from me doing more regular shading and then adding in a little bit of the hatching. And then it just eventually evolved to, like, just being more hatching. But I think, I've only been doing sports art for like specializing in sports art, even though I've been drawing my whole life for like the past 3 years or so. And it's funny because some people will act like I'm this big deal or whatever. I'm not. I mean, I'm just doing what I love and I'm enjoying it. And then other people have never heard of me. And so there's always people that will find out about you for the first time, and that's what you hope is that you get your name out there and people get to see what you do. So I for me, like, I always say it and it's true, the thing is I just want to have fun. I'm doing this because I enjoy it. It's my passion. It's always been just calming, relaxing, the way I express myself. And if people appreciate what I do, then that's just extra. That's just added bonus. And that's why when people like what I do, like, I'm super grateful. To me, um, I'm just lucky. I'm just doing what I love. So
So do you have anything specially planned for the fundraiser?
yeah. So what's tough is I do this professionally, but I have a regular full-time job. So I'm literally working Monday to Friday. Once I'm done at work, I come home. That's when I spend time on my art, and then over the weekends. So I have to kind of fit it in along with commissions and stuff like that. So it's a good thing that I keep busy, but it's also a rough thing. But yeah, I'm currently working on a print. I called On the Back of Giants,
Right.
and I haven't unveiled it yet. I did like a little sneak peek, but basically the idea behind it is it shows some of the Negro League players and coaches, and the idea is then flashing forward to some of the African American superstars of today, and kind of showing that they literally these Negro League players literally laid the groundwork, and that the superstars that we flock out to see today and we give adulation to, it wouldn't have been possible without what these men and women and did before them. So it's kind of just a piece that's summarizing that there's no today without yesterday kind of thing. So I'm gonna do this limited edition print run. I think I'm gonna do something similar to kind of like what Topps does with like their living set and their
Mhm.
2020. I think I'm just gonna do as many prints as sell.
Right.
Definitely, the whole point of it is that we're donating a portion to charity, so I have an idea of what portion I want. Like I said, I'm just grateful to be doing this, to be asked to do it, and to be with so many talented artists, not only in my own country but all around the world. I mean, there's so many huge name artists, and people that I'm friends with. And it's a great cause, and so many of my favorite athletes are African American. I don't even think about it that way. They're just my favorite athletes, and I can't even imagine what these people went through. Anything that I can do to help and do it by doing something that I love and enjoy, I'm more than happy to.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We've been getting a lot of feedback from the artists we interview that said they've known about the Negro Leagues and know everything like that, but they said they've really gotten into the research going behind that to go say, okay, I want to do something to represent it. They said they're finding the research far more interesting than they ever expected to do, and they're really getting sucked in. And they're like, I want to go into it more, but I also got to produce my work on time, get stuff done. And
it's a balance. It's a balance, and I think whenever you're drawing something, especially if it's something that you may not know as much about as you want, research is key, because it's like a photo, man. This is a snapshot in time. This is what you're saying in your piece. You have to know what you're saying. So I definitely looked up players. I chose who I did for a reason, from, and especially guys today it was harder for, because there are so many African-American superstars, and that's a testament to these men that played the game early on and went through these struggles. But I had to kind of cut back and also try to think of who people would want to see and not just be selfish, because the piece is not for me, it's for the people. So that was part of the process.
So we're going to get further into the fundraiser in a moment, but you're also an avid collector of autographed memorabilia. When did that obsession start? How big is your collection, and what's your favorite piece, the one that you could retire off?
How big is my collection? So there's an expression like 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. That's my collection. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment right now, and my wife is very kind to allow me. It just keeps growing, and most of it's in the closet. But if you don't mind, I'll show off a few of my pieces. But
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, we would love that.
You can show off your artwork, and you can show off any of the memorabilia you have.
Yeah, I'll show you some of the memorabilia real quick in a second here. But I'll just say, as far as when did I get into the collecting? So as a kid, collecting cards, pulling an autograph was like one out of like 144 packs or, whatever. It wasn't like you get a pack, you get an autograph. So you could pull a scrub, and with all due respect, somebody who wasn't a big name, and you'd be happy. You'd be like, oh my God. And now it just becomes so to where you're almost numb to it to a certain extent. But I just always felt like, to me, game use memorabilia is like a fossil. It's like holding a piece of history, like a moment in time in your hands. And like we were saying before, just having a little piece of it on a card was one thing, and then having the ability to have the whole thing is crazy. So I got into collecting really heavily in the past few years, but I've been collecting in general memorabilia since I was a kid. But I'll show you a few of my favorite pieces. I have a lot. As you guys know, I am a diehard Yankee fan. I'm also a Justin Upton collector, but I'll show you just some random stuff. So this bat I had bought from Fanatics. I don't know if you can see the name on there. It's Aaron Hicks.
Aaron Hicks.
And this bat I kind of bought sight unseen. I didn't get to see it. But after researching and photo matching it, this is actually the bat that he used in his 3-home run game against the Red Sox. I actually have it matched to every home run in that game.
Sweet.
Yeah. So I lucked out. I bought it as an issued bat. Obviously, it's not issued.
Awesome.
And I don't know if people know how that works, but basically something has to be deemed used only if it's actually taken directly from the player. If it's collected after the moment, like from the locker room, it has to be called issued. So there's a lot of confusion that people that don't collect about that. But this bat still, it's cracked here. He actually hit at least 2 other home runs with it while he was using it. So this is, as a Yankee fan, a cool piece of memorabilia. He's the first guy to do it since A-Rod did it.
That's really cool.
Yeah, man. I'll show you a couple other cool things. So for this season, this is DJ LeMahieu's first single from this year. It was the first game he played, his first hit. It was also his first RBI. This was when he came back from COVID. This was off of Eric Fetty. I believe Strasburg was supposed to start the game for the Nationals, but he was scratched. So this was a cool little piece from this season, and he may win the batting title. Hopefully he'll finally do it in the American League.
Here's hoping. DJ LeMahieu didn't get COVID. COVID got DJ LeMahieu.
Yeah, that's right, man. He hit that one. Yeah, he's insane, man.
Yes.
So here's a LeMahieu hat from 4th of July when he was with the Rockies.
Nice. Yeah.
It's got the MLB hollow on the bottom.
Yeah.
It's got his DJ9 that he wrote inside. I don't know if you can see that.
Out of curiosity, what size of hat does he wear?
Dude, you would be shocked. I have a bigger head than everybody on the Yankees. I have a huge head, so that's not saying much. But DJ LeMahieu wears a 6 7/8.
Oh, he's got a small head.
He's like 6'5" or something.
He's 6'5".
He's huge. He's a tall guy.
Pencil head. I mean, gosh.
I'm
just gonna. These guys, even guys that they make fun of, like another one of my favorites is Brett Gardner. He's got a tiny head, man, and people all make fun of his head. But
Gardner looks like quite a short guy, though, is he not? Like about 5'9" or something.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, I'm a short guy too, but I have a giant head, so it doesn't always correlate. But a few other things I'll show you real quick. One of my all-time favorite Yankees, especially growing up, I was probably one of the only people pissed when they traded him for A-Rod was Alfonso Soriano.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
this is Steiner certified. This is his hat that he wore during the 2003 World Series.
Whoa.
Not a good one for us.
No, not for him either.
No, I think he struck out
He
more than
struck-
anybody.
He struck out like a massive number of times, but yeah, what a player he was. He should have been a World Series hero back in 2001. Obviously, had that go-ahead home run in the 8th in Game 7, and then Luis
He was
Gonzalez happened.
He was one of the first Yankees I met, and I was so excited to meet him because I collected his cards big time. I'm a huge collector of his. He was one of those guys that was just so fun to watch. He felt like he could always hit it out. He was a good
always
one.
played with a smile as well.
Yeah, I heard he was super cool because I used to have a guy in Edinburgh that was from Texas, and he would bump into him at the bars, and he would hang out and buy beers from him. He said he was like a totally chill guy. He was like, "Look, just don't talk baseball with me. This is my chance to unwind." And he would sit there and hang out and have beers with these guys. It was super cool.
Yeah, he is a great guy. He's a happy guy. And like I said, he was just like Wade Boggs was my first favorite growing up, but like when I got older and was really deep, like when I got really deep into baseball, it was Soriano. It was probably one of the guys. So then next, I'll show you one Justin Upton piece. This is from this season. This is his first hit of the season. It's also his first home run of the season. He hit his 300th home run this year, which kind of went a little under the radar because Trout obviously had his 300th, all as an Angel. Upton did not, but this was Upton's 299th home run because his 300th, I believe, is with him. So this one was hit in Oakland. It's got some scratch marks on there. I don't know if you guys can make that out.
Yeah, I can see scratch marks. Yeah.
Yep. So this one was, and shout out to Mark Upham. I hope I said his name right. I believe it's Mark. It might be Chris. I might have just messed that up. But regardless, Mr. Upham, he does I can't think off the top of my head. He does the greatest labels and he puts all the information. So this was career. Oh, and Trout struck out too with this ball too. So there you go. How many times can you say that? So this was career strikeout 1120 for Trout. And this was a 383-foot home run. So that was cool. I'll bang out some more real quick and then we'll get to the art if that's cool.
Yeah. Well,
So this is a cool hat. This is from Mr. CC Sabathia. This is they know what they're doing in the memorabilia business. This is from his career 250th win. But
Right.
the reason I say they knew what they're doing is because he wore, I think, 6 hats or 5 hats that day. They had him wear one for every inning. So this again is Fanatics and MLB certified. This is one of those hats from his historic, maybe one of the last pitchers to do it. So
Possibly the last, yeah.
could be.
I
Love CC.
so much. Yeah.
Another cool one. These are from last season. These are Game Used Brett Gardner batting gloves, the lizard skin gloves.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
They're caked. They're from Camden Yards. And then arguably my favorite Yankee of all time, Andrew Eugene Pettit. This is from Andy Pettit Day at the stadium. This was hanging up in the dugout of the Cleveland Indians. It is signed by him. He inscribed it, Andrew Eugene Andy Pettit, Yankees retire number 46 Pettit Day. And I believe it's signed by Francona, I think was the manager, if I'm not mistaken, of the Indians. CC did pitch, but he took the loss. But there's only 2 of these that exist. One was in the Yankees dugout and the other one was with Cleveland. This is the Cleveland one.
Nice.
And I have one other thing. I'm not going to show it, but I'll tell you because it's not that exciting to look at. But to go with the 250th win hat, I actually have CC's pants from his 3,000 strikeout game, which is my favorite. That is my favorite item. I can show you guys after if you want, but they're giant. They're probably almost the size of me.
Yeah.
If they were water, I'd probably be drowning. But they have dirt on them. He batted in the game because it was in Arizona. So I photo matched them too, and it is the only pair of pants he wore for that game. So there are no 5 pairs of pants.
There's probably only enough fabric for one.
So to me, that's what collecting is all about. To think that I own the pair of pants that he wore when he had that historic moment. He stopped and greeted the crowd, and he hugged his family. I mean, to me, it gives me goosebumps thinking about it. So.
I'm actually getting goosebumps thinking about it as well.
It's crazy. I'll have to show you guys.
Just thinking about that guy.
Yeah.
He's one of the few that when he retired that I took a while to get over it. Like obviously there's guys that come along like a Jeter. For me, Mike Mussina was my guy growing up. So when he retired, especially with him not winning the World Series and then us winning rings the next year after his 20-game win season, he's one that I miss. But then there wasn't really one after Jeter until CC. Guy was just an incredible clubhouse leader, just a great Yankee to watch, and carried this team on his back through some pretty rough times in the last few years. I think back to a couple of the seasons that we've had where just injuries have, and he's had a few himself, but like he always tried to come back and put the team on his back, and that was what made him just the best Yankee, I think, of this generation.
He's like a
post-GR years.
Exactly. He's like a warrior to me. To me, Guardy's going to be the last one to retire. That's a link like that. I think personally, even though I was always a fan of CC after what happened to him early in the season, because I work in cardiology, so during the day, so him with his heart issue and getting stents, and then coming back, it was weird seeing the people that don't know about that side of things think that was the end for him and not realize that life goes on. And not to say that it's not serious, but that it's not an end of life thing. But then the way he went out, he literally went out on his shield, man. He was the giving tree. He gave everything of himself, and he's just such a warrior. And I know he's a big supporter of the Negro Leagues, and he has a shirt. I think people should get it. It's an awesome shirt. But yeah, I agree with you, man. He's a warrior, and it was tough to see him go. I was glad that I got to see him pitch a bunch of times in person last season.
Yeah, and he's looking great this year. He's looking very
God, he looks ripped, man. I'm happy for him. He's one guy I didn't get to meet in person. I've gotten stuff signed by him, but I wasn't there to do it. I was at a game the same day that he was doing a signing after the game. It was the game he got thrown out. That was Mariano Rivera Day last season. They literally I think it was like Encarnacion and a couple other Yankees were doing a signing in White Plains, New York, which is like I think 30 minutes from the stadium. But I was tapped out, so I gave my buddy stuff to get signed for me. But he was wearing this shirt too, the Savages shirt. But yeah, he's somebody I want to meet one day, man. I have so much respect for CC as a human being, and like you said, just a warrior, man. Like he's a Yankee through and through. I know that he started out as a Cleveland Indian, and he was a Brewer for a cup of coffee. But man, just a great Yankee, a great ball player, a great ambassador to the game.
What was he as a Brewer, Jason? He was like 8-0. He moved it like the deadline and was like 8-0 or something like that.
Yeah, he was lights out for him. They were like pitching him every third day. I mean, I think they pitched him every could have.
He became kind of like a throwback to the early 1900s style of pitcher where he would go like 7 innings every 3 or 4 days rather than just following the rotation. Would just be like, CC healthy? No. Okay, let's go to the next healthiest guy.
All right, Maz, let's get to some arts here. We're gonna run out of time here because we've got cards to open as well too. So
I'll be real fast, man. So I'm just gonna show you just some random pieces, let you know. So this is one piece that I did in like sepia ink. I kind of aged the paper. I wanted to do. These are pieces I wish I had more time for, but this is Babe Ruth. It's on like aged paper just to show you an original. A lot of line work.
Amazing.
This is like kind of what I'm known for, what you guys were talking about.
Yeah, I was looking at your artwork and your line work's amazing. The detail behind that's just incredible.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So here's something a little different. It has some of my line work in it, but also not really. This is a watercolor with some color pencil. Bob Gibson, another one of my all-time favorites. One of the guys, obviously, I didn't get to watch growing up, but just had the reputation that just was tough as nails. And, his nickname, I think, was Hoot, so I threw the owl in there.
Right, yeah.
I got that.
So is that for sale or is that a personal piece?
No, I mean, I'm willing to sell this stuff. I mean, I got it for me at the time, but I have other stuff, Here's another one. So this was what am I looking at? What's his face? Charlie Keller, King Kong Keller. So that one was right up my alley. I'm a big Apes fan. So this one was insane.
Nice.
So that's the old school King Kong, all hand drawn, hatching.
Brilliant. Yeah.
So there's another one of those. Another one of my favorite, like, nicest guys, just to show I'm not just a Yankee fan, I'm a baseball fan. So this is a print of a piece I did. This was signed by Jim Palmer. I just love this piece. I don't know why. It's simple, but it just captures his essence.
There's an almost ballet quality to it as well.
He was very acrobatic in his delivery. Yeah. So you're gonna like.
I saw a picture of you with Jim Palmer there.
Yeah.
You didn't ask him to sign any what is it, Speedos? What was it he was
promoting? No, man. I'm a boxer brief guy, so I don't want to get in a fight with him. No, he's a sweetheart of a man. He's awesome. My wife couldn't believe how old he was. She thought he was like 50. He's in great shape, man.
You see, he pops up every once in a while because, again, we're all baseball fans here. And so you kind of watch whatever's on TV. So if it's Orioles on because there's only game, you just watch it. And so every once in a while he'll pop up and be like, damn, he does look like he's much younger than he is.
Absolutely. John, you'll appreciate this one. arguably the greatest professional wrestler of all time, at least the greatest gimmick of all time. This is also an original signed by Mark Calloway himself, the Dead Man, the Undertaker.
Oh, that is class. That is awesome.
So this is the original. This is all ink, some watercolor, and some white paint there. I don't know how it's coming through, but it's basically got a vulture worked in there, just like WrestleMania when he
Yeah.
came out with the vulture.
Mm-hmm.
One of my
Yeah.
favorite guys to see live. I got to see him at his last appearance at the Garden in a tag match.
Yeah.
So
I
just
saw him in Glasgow, Scotland, in a tag team main event that he wasn't advertised for. So when my brother and I heard the gong, we absolutely lost our shit. The advertised main event was Triple H versus Big Show for the title, the WWE title, and it ended up being Legacy versus Triple H and Undertaker.
Oh,
the tag
Legacy,
match
man.
Instead. Yeah, because I think Big Show was like injured or something at the time, so it was just like insane.
Two-thirds of Legacy are doing all right, man. Two-thirds of Legacy did okay for themselves.
The other one's like a firefighter or something, isn't he?
Oh, DiBiase Jr.?
Yeah.
I don't know what he's up to. I don't know. He talk about living in shadow, but so here's another one of my favorite Yankees, El Duque. This is an original watercolor. This one's actually sold already. I got to send this out this weekend. One of my favorite guys to meet.
Awesome.
Thank you. Love the leg kick. So here's a piece. I'm doing an exclusive partnership with BG Collectibles.
Right.
So they're having Jorge Posada. It's his first signing in 6 years. He's a tough guy to get. So I did a print, and we're doing a limited edition run of 20 that he's going to sign. I'm going to sign, and they're going to be hand numbered out of 20. Again, that's BG Collectibles. This is going to be the piece.
Whoa.
Oh, that's awesome.
Cool.
Thank you. One of my favorites. I have a signed copy for myself that I got years ago. But
yeah.
So we're doing that. One person that. Thank you. I appreciate that. One person that I'm happy to work with. It's an honor for me because I'm also a football fan. I won't say who I like. No, I'm a Cowboy fan, unfortunately.
We've got a tough matchup on Sunday.
Oh, God. I don't even have faith anymore, but, you hope for the best and prepare for the worst. But I was a huge fan of The Greatest Show on Turf. I'm blessed enough that the past couple of years I've been doing work for Isaac Bruce and his charity. So last year for the Gridiron Gala, he wanted me to do a piece for the anniversary of the Super Bowl, the team. So I had to do a piece with like 20 something or 30 something guys on it. They made prints out of it. He signed one for me. He signed a few for me, but so this is like the whole team with the Super Bowl trophy and the coach and all that stuff. Nice. So that was a fun undertaking. And speaking of that, another print I had done, one of my favorite, if not my favorite guy growing up too, was Torrey Holt. He was famous for being in Nelly's Air Force Ones video. So I got him to have the Air Force One in the background, got him to write "Stomping in my Air Force Ones." So I think that's enough for now. I don't want to, guys can go on my social media and look up stuff, but those were some pieces I just wanted to pull to give people an idea of kind of what I do.
Cool. So we're going to open some cards just shortly. I just want to quickly close with a question I like to ask all the artists. As an American, as an artist, and as a baseball fan, what do the Negro Leagues mean to you, and how did you come to be involved in the project?
Yeah, so what they mean to me, I mean, I'm by birth, I'm Jewish. I'm not an overly religious guy. So I know that even if I don't necessarily follow my religion to its fullest, I have a respect and appreciation and know what they went through. And I know the struggles that my people went through that allow me to live like the way I do today. And it's unnecessary struggles. And I see a parallel with African Americans. I'm not saying that they went through the same struggle, but it was a struggle and it was an unjust one. And like I said, we can only read about it. We don't know what it was like at that time, especially not being somebody of color. And to know how many of my favorite athletes, I mean, I'm a huge Justin Upton collector, CC Sabathia, Torrey Holt, Bob Gibson, like a lot of my favorite guys are African American. And especially the newer guys, to know that I wouldn't be able to watch them if these people didn't do the heavy lifting. And not to say that there's still not unjust things going on in the world today. It's a crazy world we live in. But they definitely, this was the beginning, towards the beginning of it. I mean, obviously there was stuff going on for years before that, but just to be involved in that and to support such a good cause means a lot to me. I feel like I do have an emotional attachment to it. And the way I got involved is one of my best buddies, who's one of the most renowned sports artists, James Fiorentino. I've been very blessed to be friends with him the past couple of years, and he's really mentored me. He had mentioned it to me and said, this is something you should look into. I think it would be good for you. And I did, and they were happy to have me. And Tad is doing a great job putting this together, and he's got such an all-star clientele and roster of people that hopefully we'll be able to raise a lot of money for a great cause. And not only that, but just help people remember. And like you said before, it's a learning experience. Hopefully, even if people just stop to Google somebody or learn something new, it helps keep the legacy and the memory alive.
James is coming on the show. We double booked him with somebody else, so we got to find another
Uh-oh.
time there. But we'll see if we can do. So I was a little overwhelmed by requests, and as
by that he means he did.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have anything to do with that.
I've got like 8 different places people have got hold of me on my normal Instagram, on my Bubba account, on my Dugout Classics account, the Facebook pages. It's just like
it's been hectic for old Jason over there. Do you want to plug your socials and then we'll open some baseball cards quickly?
Sure. So you guys can find me on Facebook, my regular Facebook, Maz Adams. On Facebook, my business account is The Art of Maz Adams. You can go to mazadamsart.com. It's my website. I'm still building it, even though it's been up for like a year. Instagram, I'm very active, Maz Adams Art. On Twitter, Maz Adams Art. And Maz Adams is MazAdams. And I just want to, before everything, just again, thank people who buy my work, support it. My wife, my friends, my family, my dad, my mom, everybody. I like to think that I'm sitting here doing this day is crazy, and to you guys. So I appreciate all of it so much. I'm just having fun.
We appreciate having you on, Maz. It's been an absolute pleasure. Jason, I'll hand it off to you and let's open some cards.
Yeah, okay.
Pleasure's all mine.
I'm texting the next guest to tell us to give us 5-10 minutes because we're running a little late here. But this is fun. So actually, before we start opening the cards, if I'm gonna like find your artwork in any of the Topps products, what am I buying? Because I'm gonna go out and ask my buddy who owns a card shop to like get me some cards. I want to see what I can find.
So I started working with Topps about a year ago. I believe what's out right now is Topps Series 2, Topps Museum Collection. I did some sketch cards for. The big thing, you can write it down. The big thing you're going to want to get for sure, I don't know how much I can say, but Topps Gallery will be your best shot. Those are my first actual printed cards. So it's a dream come true for me, man, because the sketch cards are a dream in itself, but to have mass produced cards for my artwork, and you'll have a chance to pull my original artwork in Topps as well that was used to make the cards in Gallery. So I'm so excited for that. To me, that's like the first really like holy crap moment for me, and I hope it's the first of many. But Topps Series 2, Museum right now, and Gallery soon, hopefully.
All right,
and cool. a lot of great artwork in there from a lot of great artists. Like I said, and just so many good ones.
Yeah, I'll have my buddy hook me up with some so I can see if
Gallery is the one you're gonna want. Trust me.
It's not if you've been on as guest. If I pull any of your artwork, I'm sending it right to you, get it autographed.
You don't have to, man. I'll be happy to hook anybody up that wants it. It's just crazy. I'm blessed. So anybody who wants it, I'm more than happy to.
Cool. All right. So I'm old school. So I'm all about the junk wax era. So I've got 89 Donruss.
Excellent.
1990 Score.
There you go.
91 Upper Deck.
Okay.
91 Stadium Club.
All right, there you go. Best photos in baseball right there.
All right, 92 Donruss.
Okay.
And the last one is 93 Studio.
Ooh, Studio was my favorite as a kid, man.
I've got 91 Studio as well.
I like the jumbo years. They did the jumbo ones. Those were my favorite.
Right. All right, so you want to go with the Studio then?
Oh, so I get to pick one? Is that how it works?
You get to pick whatever one you want, yeah.
I gotta go with Studio, man. Just such a cool set.
Do you want the 91 or the 93? 91 was the one where they had the portraits, and 93 had the logos in the background.
93 for sure. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's funny. Everyone likes his 93 Studio. I never bought these cards.
Oh man, they were so good.
We pulled this one. So my first interview with Tad and Travis, we pulled this one.
Is that Schmidt? I'm having tried. It's like blurry.
No, it's Steve Lake, but he's got the big pair.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I just see the mustache in the Phillies.
Yeah.
But, oh crap!
So we were talking about the cards, and we actually pulled it. It was awesome. So we all sat there and just busted up laughing. So
why even try opening packs after that? That's the pinnacle, man. It's only down from there.
Jason and I pulled John Wetland ripping some guitar at one point.
Oh Lord!
We were doing like a tester for these video shows, and one of the cards that we pulled was a John Wetland, kind of an awkward one actually.
So if there's anything you want to say about the player, go for it. Luckily, these studio cards are mostly stars, so we just kind of chat about it there. But our first card is Luis Polonia, so not really much of a star.
I remember him well. He always made me want bologna. Now I want bologna, so thank you very much.
You know what? I can't get bologna out here. I've not had bologna in like 20 years.
You poor man. We'll have to mail you some bologna. It'll probably survive somehow.
All right. Well, oh gosh, these are stuck together. Unfortunately, you're gonna hate this card. Luis Gonzalez.
Hey, it's all good, man. He got, he put his bat out there. He did his job, man. That's the game. Sometimes the ball rolls your way. Sometimes it doesn't. So good on him.
It's Randy Johnson's fault anyway.
I mean, I was hysterical crying in my parents' bedroom with my dad, but whatever. I'll get over it.
See, I was the same, but it was 6 a.m. So
Like I said, my team didn't make it. You guys.
and I had school the next day.
We had 116 wins that year. We lost.
Oh man, that's the thing. That's the thing, man. It's all who.
Jose Offerman for the Dodgers.
All right, Offerman. So wrestling connection right there. JoJo Offerman's dad. JoJo is now with the Fiend Bray Wyatt. So they have two
It's
kids
true.
together. So there you go. It all comes together.
So I guess we're gonna run out of time. But the best of these, they tell them what their like what their interests are and stuff like that. That one was a good one. But here you go. Ooh, you got the big cat, Andres Galarraga.
Awesome.
That's
remember
probably gonna be
Andres.
Pete Sack, who we interviewed the other day. He's a big Galarraga fan.
Feared hitter in his day.
Tom Glavine.
Glavin. Oh man.
One of those guys you just can't help respect.
So this is the best part.
Exactly.
So we're reading these. If he wasn't an athlete, he might have been an accountant.
Well, lucky for Braves fans, maybe he wasn't good with math. I don't know. He was good with baseball. That's
We got
Well, it was economical with his pitches.
Clint Hurdle.
all right. There you go.
So we have
Coach now, right? If I don't believe a manager.
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah, he's a
Over
manager.
Where was it? The Rockies. Sounds like.
Oh yes, I believe so.
All right. Yeah, Ozzie Guillen. There we go. Former
Ah,
manager.
there you go. Yep.
Cool. We
Beautiful
pulled
card.
this card yesterday, but it's another Kirk Gibson.
He's upside down.
It's upside down. Well, it's stuck. It's
It's
stuck.
upside down. It's upside down. World Kirk Gibson.
There he is.
There you go. It's stuck. These cards are 20 years, 30 years old. Like they get
That
stuck.
happens.
This is one of my personal favorites. I actually have a Mark Grace jersey. I'm such a fan of Mark Grace.
Yeah, underrated guy. Underrated guy.
Just for his hit streak, slump buster quote.
Oh yeah.
I tell everyone that.
Yeah.
So
We'll have to explain that one to the Scottish listeners on the podcast sometime.
Oh Lord.
cool. Two more cards. We got Kevin McReynolds. There's a Royal there.
No Yankees, man. Oh man.
No, star. Oh, two cards left. Here we go. Who's this? Orstres Dezulis. I don't even know. I can't even pronounce this guy's name.
Oh.
But
I
he's
miss
obviously one of
those
the first
colors, though.
Marlins.
Yeah, I miss the actual Florida Marlins.
Yeah, exactly. It's the teal was the best. And we'll end with Craig Biggio.
One of my favorites, man. I have game used catcher's, like not his catcher's glove, but the batting glove he wore under his catcher's mitt.
Oh, right.
One
Okay,
of my
that's pretty cool. Because I mean, everyone forgets he started off as a catcher.
Yeah, no, he's one of my favorites, man. So that's actually a perfect way to end it.
Perfect. All right, Maz. It's been a blast. We'll definitely have you on again another time and do this. But best of luck with you, and
Thank
thanks
you,
for coming
guys.
on.
Thanks
so
you both
much,
so
Maz.
much. Thanks for having me, guys. This is a blast, and thank you for
My
everybody
pleasure.
who tunes in.
Cool.
Thanks, man.
All right, man. Take it easy.
You got it, guys.
Bye.
You have to end the meeting, John.
I know.
Okay.
I knew that.